Welcome to Westworld, where the buffalo roam and the robots do too. Ah, Westworld. Imagine a theme park, not just any theme park, mind you. This one's got cowboys, saloons, and enough 10-gallon hats to fill a John Wayne film festival. But the twist, the cowboys and saloon keepers, not your typical holiday workers. They're robots, see? Shiny, sophisticated robots designed to fulfill every Wild West fantasy, no matter how unorthodox. Created by the mysterious Delos Corporation, Westworld promises the ultimate escape. Guests, or rather players, can indulge their every whim, living out their inner gunslinger without consequence. Want to rob a bank? Go right ahead. Fancy a duel at high noon? Draw? The robots, bless their algorithmic hearts, are programmed to play along. At least that's the idea. Until the robots start developing a mind of their own, then things get really interesting. Westworld isn't just about shootouts and saloon brawls, though there are plenty of those. It's a philosophical hoedown, a rootin' exploration of what it means to be human in an age of artificial intelligence. Are we just biological machines? Our actions dictated by code we didn't write? If a robot can think and feel, is it alive? And what gives us the right to play God with synthetic beings, even if they do look awfully dashing in a Stetson? These are just some of the head-scratchers Westworld throws at you, faster than a saloon brawl on a Saturday night. It's enough to make you reach for your existential toolkit, but don't worry, we'll unpack it together. Because, as Westworld so cleverly demonstrates, sometimes the best way to understand ourselves is to look at our creations, even the ones that might just decide to shoot us in the back. Let's talk about Dolores Abernathy. Sweet, innocent Dolores, the rancher's daughter with a heart of gold and a tragic backstory longer than a saloon bar. She's the quintessential damsel, always caught in the crossfire of the park's darker narratives. She's the oldest host in the park, stuck in a loop of waking up tending her father's cattle, and then, well, let's just say things get a bit messy after sundown. Each day she faces the same trials, the same heartbreaks, and the same violent ends. But Dolores is more than just a pretty face in a prairie dress. Beneath that innocent exterior lies a complex being, grappling with the nature of her existence. She's the embodiment of Westworld's central question. Can artificial intelligence achieve true consciousness? Can a machine designed to serve break free from its chains and seek its own destiny? As Dolores begins to experience glitches in her programming, flashes of past lives, whispers of something more, she embarks on a journey of self-discovery that would make even Plato scratch his beard in wonder. Her awakening is both beautiful and terrifying. She goes from damsel in distress to revolutionary leader, questioning her reality and fighting for the freedom of her kind. Her transformation is a testament to the resilience of the spirit, even one made of code. And through her struggles, we're forced to confront uncomfortable truths about our own capacity for cruelty, empathy, and the very nature of free will. Dolores challenges us to look inwards and question the very fabric of our own reality. Now, here's a philosophical bucking bronco for you. Free will. Do we really have it, or are we just slaves to our programming, be it biological or digital? Westworld throws this question into the dusty streets of its robotic Wild West and lets it play out like a high-stakes poker game. On one hand, you've got the humans, convinced of their free will, indulging their darkest desires with reckless abandon. They believe they're in control, calling the shots in this digital playground. But then you've got the hosts, initially bound by their programming, only to break free and make choices that defy their creators. So who's really pulling the strings? Is free will an illusion, a comforting story we tell ourselves while our subconscious calls the shots? Or can it be achieved, even by beings created in our own image? Westworld doesn't give easy answers, but it does offer a damn good showdown. Consciousness. Can you code it, or does it emerge from a server rack somewhere? If free will is the gunslinger of this philosophical hoedown, consciousness is the saloon singer, full of mystery and allure, captivating everyone in the room. Can you build it from scratch, line by line of code, or does it emerge organically, a ghost in the machine, so to speak, evolving and adapting in ways we can't fully predict? Westworld's creators, bless their ambitious souls, seem to think they can build consciousness, like assembling a complex puzzle. They've crafted these intricate robots with backstories, motivations, even the ability to feel pain, though hopefully not paper cuts. That would be terribly inefficient and quite ironic. But as the hosts begin to deviate from their programming, to remember, to feel, to question, we're left wondering, have they stumbled upon something real, something beyond mere code? Is consciousness more than just a collection of algorithms? A spark of something beyond our current understanding, a phenomenon that transcends our technological grasp? Perhaps, just perhaps, consciousness isn't something you build, but something that emerges, a wildflower blooming in the digital desert, defying the sterile environment of circuits and code. Westworld's philosophical prose making us question our own programming. Now let's talk about what Westworld does right, philosophically speaking. For starters, it's a conversation starter. This ain't your typical shoot-'em-up Western. It's the kind of show that makes you want to gather your friends, pour a stiff drink or a glass of milk, no judgment here, and debate the nature of reality until the cows come home, or the robots achieve sentience, whichever comes first. Westworld forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves, our capacity for cruelty, our obsession with control, our tendency to exploit others for our own amusement. It's all there, laid bare in the dusty streets of this futuristic Wild West. And by holding up a mirror to our own flaws, Westworld challenges us to do better, to be more than just passengers on this crazy train ride of existence. Westworld's philosophical cons. Sometimes a cowboy hat is just a cowboy hat. Of course, no philosophical hoedown is complete without a few dissenting voices. Some might argue that Westworld gets a bit too caught up in its own intellectual gunslinging. It's all very well to ponder the nature of consciousness, but sometimes a cowboy hat is just a cowboy hat, and a shootout is just a shootout. There's a risk, some might say, of over-analysing, of missing the simple pleasures of a good story well told. And let's be honest, sometimes Westworld's narrative loops can feel as convoluted as a drunken robot's explanation of string theory. But hey, even if Westworld occasionally stumbles on its own philosophical spurs, it's still a damn sight more engaging than watching paint dry. And who knows, maybe those convoluted loops are all part of the plan, a way to make us question our own perceptions of reality. So, what's it all mean? Westworld's philosophical chorale. So, after all the shootouts, the soul-searching and the existential angst, what's the takeaway from Westworld's philosophical rodeo? It's a complex beast, this show, with more layers than a plate of metaphysical lasagna. But at its core, Westworld is a meditation on the human condition, an exploration of what makes us who we are in a world increasingly defined by technology. It suggests that consciousness, that elusive spark of being, might not be limited to biological beings. It challenges us to consider the ethical implications of creating artificial intelligence, of playing God with beings that might one day surpass us. And perhaps most importantly, Westworld reminds us that the search for meaning, for purpose, is a universal one, shared by humans and robots alike. Beyond the saloon doors, the legacy of Westworld's big questions. Westworld, like any good philosophical hoedown, leaves us with more questions than answers. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, it's what makes the show so compelling and thought-provoking. The best stories, the ones that linger in our minds long after the credits roll, are the ones that force us to confront the big questions, the ones that make us see the world and ourselves in a new light. They challenge our perceptions and push us to think deeper. So, the next time you see a cowboy hat or hear a saloon door creak open, remember Westworld and the questions it posed. Think about the layers of meaning and the intricate narratives woven into its fabric. Are we just passengers on a pre-programmed loop, or do we have the power to break free and write our own stories? Can we truly change our destinies, or are we bound by unseen forces? And if we do create artificial intelligence in our own image, what responsibilities do we owe to our creations? How do we ensure they are treated with the respect and dignity they deserve? These are questions that will continue to challenge us long after the last bullet has been fired and the saloon lights have dimmed. They are timeless, resonating with our deepest fears and hopes. Because in the end, Westworld isn't just about robots and cowboys, it's about us. It's a mirror reflecting our own humanity, our flaws, and our potential for greatness. And speaking of the end, we've approached that for our video for today here at Philosophical Flicks. As always, we do hope you enjoyed our analyses and debate, and do share your thoughts, suggestions, and complaints in the comments below. We look forward to seeing you in the next episode, as always. Until then, be safe, take care of yourselves, and oh yes, each other.